guest moment. And today, my very special guest is Kim Ward. And Kim and I have a very interesting history. If we have time, we'll talk about it later. If not, text either of us. We'll tell you the story, right? But Kim, welcome so much to Milk Crate Moments.
I'm so excited to be here, Jean. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's 100% my pleasure. And listen, I met Kim, re-met Kim just a few months ago, right? Where we are in a Marco Polo group together. And when we started talking, and it was about how can we work together? How can we collaborate on a couple projects? And I said, hey, come do a Facebook Live with my, no, it's not a Facebook Live, it's a masterclass. Come do a masterclass for my people. And you said,
Well, of course. I mean, of course. That's a
yeah,
no-brainer.
right, but Kim does something really amazing, and we're going to get to that in just a moment because I love to talk about business, and I'm going to love to talk to Kim about her business. So Kim, I always start the Milk Crate Moments with what is or was your Milk Crate moment?
Well, that's a big loaded question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I will tell you, we were just talking about this before we started live streaming. 2014, it was 3 days after Christmas. I was 8 months pregnant with my daughter, Adriana, and my mom decided to take her own life.
Mm.
And my husband was a lieutenant with the fire department at that time. And so he was on scene. And I remember getting to my mom's house after I got the call, and I just saw lights everywhere. And I looked at my husband and I said, because of this was my second loss of that kind. I had lost my sister to suicide 7 years prior. And I looked at my husband and said, I'm never going back to work. I will never go to a corporate hustle and pump in a bathroom where my patients left urine samples and we get a week off for bereavement. And so I decided to launch my business from home. Hey, Delroy. And Rich was behind me 100%. He supported my decision. And I will be honest, I think without the transparency and the vulnerability, I'm not going to be helpful in you closing that gap from where you are to where you want to be. And I think a lot of people can relate with this part of the process. Is my husband made a very, very healthy six-figure salary plus. I mean, he was all right. So I'm doing my thing online and in my business, but it was busy work. It was not productive work. And I knew that I had so much breathing room because of his salary that I really didn't do the things I needed to do to move the needle forward. And so we decided to retire my husband in 2019 from the fire department. We relocated to Tennessee, where we live now. And even then, Jean, I wasn't motivated enough to build my business to keep my husband home. So he had to now transition immediately from retirement to a 5 day a week uh, construction job. He was the grunt man. No one cared that he was a lieutenant or where he came from. And we live in a very, very small town where, I'm sorry, but we're not considered a local. And we speak with an accent, right? So he was very abused. They
Mm.
had zero respect. And I watched this man pack his lunch bag, leave the house at like 5 a.m., come home at 5 p.m., filthy rotten and just dirty. And I'm like, what is it going to take for me to get off my high horse and bring this man home and get busy in my business? And so we had talks. I'm like, if this boils down to you feeling a certain way, I don't want you to feel that way. So just quit. And he's like, babe, I can't. You are not making enough money. And I knew it. I would drop my daughter off at school. My husband would go to work. I would come sit in this exact office. And by 2 o'clock, when it was time to go pick her up from school, I'd look around and go, what did I accomplish today? So the day came. It was January of 2020. My husband called me and I said, hey, And I hear, "Babe?" "Yes," with a very serious tone. He said, "Have you got us?" Immediately in my heart, I knew what he was referring to. And I lied through my teeth and I said, "Of course I do." He goes, "Good, because I'm on my way home. I just quit." And I said, "Okay, drive safe," because it was January, it's very snowy, and we're on some very serious mountainous roads. And I hung up the phone and I literally dropped to my knees and started bawling my eyes out. And I
Mm.
thought, "What did I just do? What did I just do to my family? What did I just do to our future?" And I say fortunately and unfortunately, that was my milk crate moment.
Well, that's a pretty biggie, right? Because when you have you're not making any money, so that's what I'm hearing. You told him, "I've got you," and didn't know how you had
That's
you,
right.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what happened next?
So I called my friend Cindy, bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, "What am I gonna do? He's on his way home. I'm not making anything. I can't survive. I can't feed my family." In my mind, I already had us broke and homeless. Seriously. And she said, "What are you talking about? You know what to do. Get back in your office and get to work." And it was almost like something shifted in me right then and there. I had nowhere to hide anymore. I had no time and no place to run to. So I came to this office, I sat down at this desk, and I formulated a plan. What do I know to do? And I wrote it down, I got it out of my head, and I started to take immediate action.
That's the piece right there, right? I think so many people kind of like you, Kim, and listen, I struggled with that too, right? You've heard my milk crate moment that felt like I made the biggest financial mistake and kind of ruined our whole lives, right? As that I was telling myself. But I think that's the biggest piece there is that people will come up with a plan and they will write it down, but they don't take the action.
Yeah.
And so I'm not even going to ask you why you didn't were taking action because I had 1,000 reasons why I wasn't taking enough action, right? So I do think that that is something that we all can fall into, and really the people who come out on the other end are the people who do take the action. So when you got back into this,
Yep.
so I'm going to guess that. Well, how long before your husband knew that you didn't really have you guys?
He never knew until about a year and a half later when he heard me speaking on something similar to this, and he said, "You never told me that." And I said, "I know."
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow, I freaking love that story, right? And this is so but this is I hope that people that are listening to this understand that this is more normal than it is not,
Yeah.
right? That small business owners go through this when they don't have somebody else to talk to on a regular basis. You said that you were there, you were kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You were kind of out in the outskirts, right? Not a lot of people around, probably not a lot of business owners that you're hanging around with there in town, right? Am I Is that correct?
100%. I'm very, very isolated, and at this
Isolated.
point, I hadn't made any friends, and I don't really leave my house unless it's to drop my daughter off at school or to go grocery shopping. I was 100% glued to my house.
Yeah, I think the isolation is what helps people get to that state because when you're isolated, you're like, "Got this. Tomorrow. I'll start again tomorrow." Right? Nope. Tomorrow's the day I'm going to do it. No, seriously. Tomorrow. Okay, it's Friday. Monday, I'm starting all over again. And it perpetuates like that
Yep.
until the bottom falls out, right? And
Oh.
it's like, I'm way in debt. I have no money. And so, yay for you. Honest to God, yay for you for. I think you feel about your husband the same way I feel about mine. They're our biggest supporters.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
And you would do anything not to disappoint them,
I've
right?
proven it. Yeah.
Me too, right? That was the reason I got up off my milk crate because I'd never let my husband down,
Yep.
and he always thought I was awesome. And I didn't want him to find out that I'm just a nut job like everybody else, right? So,
That's why we're such good friends, you know?
oh, so, all right. So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now, because you did a master class for my people last week, the week before.
Yeah, a week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And, so tell people what you're doing now, um, and why I would have you on my master class.
Well, I am a social media ninja. I really am. I had to figure this out very, very quickly. And so when I retired myself from my corporate job, I was making about $75,000 a year. And so I had to get right to work to figure this thing out, and very, very quickly. So right after Rich came home that day, I was a busy little beaver in the office. And I will tell you, if anyone here is thinking, oh, Facebook is dead, or Facebook is for old people, or those tactics are gone, you couldn't be further from the truth. Everything works if you work it. And
Yeah.
so what I did, Jean, just to kind of lead up to this point, is I created a DMO, a daily method of operation, for Facebook specifically. I didn't have Pinterest at that point. I didn't have YouTube. Matter of fact, my Facebook ads account got shut down in 2017 when I tried to run an ad to a CBD oil product. They didn't like that. So my Facebook ads account was shut down forever. I had nothing but organic Facebook marketing.
Mm,
So that was January of 2020. January, February, March, and April. 4 months, you guys. I created more than my corporate salary just hustling on Facebook, networking in groups, making friends, making connections, making the offers. And then month 5, which was May of 2020, I created my very first $14,000 week. And it still wasn't even then that I told my husband how much of a fraud I felt like. And
mm.
so once I mastered that one thing, which for me was Facebook, that's when I branched out to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So today I have a multiple 6-figure a year business as a digital marketing strategist. And I help small business owners and entrepreneurs really tap into lead generation and driving traffic and making sales in a leveraged way, by unleashing that power of social media.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Hey, listen, we're going to take just a 1 minute break, and I want to talk about, because you're involved in this. So I want to talk about the Second Act Conference. Yeah. And the Second Act Conference it's going to be a conference this fall, and it's for people in the second act of their life. Now, Kim, you're not there yet.
I consider myself there. I'm
Really?
an old soul.
Okay. Well, if old soul is okay, then. So the listen, I woke up on December 21st. I don't know if I told you this story. I woke up on December 22nd, I'm sorry, of 2012. There's a lot of ones and twos in there. I mix them
Yeah,
up,
kind of.
right? And it was my youngest son's 21st birthday. And I woke up and I thought, I'm 53 years old. I am not going to live to 106. I am past middle age. I am totally in my second act. I didn't use those words at that time, but I was more like, oh shit, what am I going to do? Right? Because I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with where I was. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And I really I deemed 2013 the year of Gene Kuhn 2.0. And I just reinvented myself, which meant I had to learn new stuff. I had to invest in myself, because I don't know about you, Kim, but also a multiple 6-figure business owner. Wouldn't you agree that when you get to be a multiple 6-figure business owner, what's the next thing you want?
You want to scale.
You want to scale. I want to be a 7-figure business owner.
Yeah.
Right? So that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, I still want more. Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so the second act conference is all about helping the people who in their second act get to 6 figures so they can scale, right? Did you know, Kim, that only 12% of women business owners ever hit $100,000?
Oh, that hurts my heart.
It hurts my heart too. So I want to talk about that October 25th to the 27th. It is, you can find that at secondactevent.com. I'll put it in the chat here. But Kim, why I'm even mentioning this is, and for people who are watching with us here today, Kim is going to be a sponsor there. And you're going to be speaking about,
Pinterest marketing.
listen, you told some stuff about Pinterest that, like, I thought it was just for pinning recipes, right? And what is it really for? We won't go into the whole thing, but what is it for?
Girl, come on. Pinterest is a search engine. So, what's it for? It's for those business owners who want to leverage their time, repurpose their content, not strain themselves with that organic reach. And guess what? You can really get in front of your ideal audience quicker, faster, easier, and let's get you scaling.
I love that, and I'm so happy that you shared that with my people, and we're going to be and we're going to all be at the Second Act conference together. So let's go back now to finish up talking about your business. Thank you for letting me give a little plug to my event coming
See
up.
all my friends here. So, I mean, if you're that lady, I better see you at the Second Act conference because I am going to tear up that stage.
Yes, you will, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you will. So now going forward, what are you seeing in the future for Kim Ward?
Oh my gosh, that's a really great question. I'm really leading by example as far as, leverage and finding the ability. I did the hustle thing already. Now it's time to leverage. And I said this to someone yesterday. I'm 41 and I'm finally living my best life. I'm not glued to my desk. I'm not glued to Zoom. I have my cake and eat it too. And I want that for so many people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be everywhere, everywhere, and help those people who are like, how did you create that? Because that's what I want. I want to understand social media. I want to leverage my business. I want to retire my husband. I want to enjoy, my baby that's home because maybe it's the last baby before I'm an empty nester. And so I will stop at nothing until I get everything I want, just in case you didn't know that.
Well, maybe you need to put together the Gen X conference, right?
I should. I should.
Your first act Gen X
There
conference,
we go. Coming soon to a
coming,
theater near you.
right? Because I love that, because that's those women, right? Are now, those are late Gen Xers. They're boomers and headed into that second act, or even in their late second act. They want more. They don't want to be there. They felt like, as a matter of fact, I was asking one of my clients today, I said, tell me a little bit about what you are looking for in your second act. And she said, I am looking for more money. I am looking to live bigger. I am looking to live longer. I want more vitality. And I don't want to rely on Social Security when
Oh,
right there. And I want to create some generational wealth for my family.
oh, and so you shall. It's a decision, people. It is just a decision, and then your actions will follow that decision. But you know what, Jean? Because of people like you and because of people like me who are those trailblazers and painting the way,
Mhm.
it's very difficult for us to see our own blind spots. And so that's why we need mentors. That's why we need those guides to say, what did you do? Mentally, how do I strengthen myself? How do I find that confidence? How do I get out of the fight or flight from the milk crate moment to being literally pressed against the wall? No pressure, no diamonds, baby. And I'm all about the sparkle.
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
diamonds are a girl's best
they
friend.
sure are.
So, but here's the cool thing. What I really, it's not just about putting the pressure on too, because listen, there is something to be said about leveraging other people to help you know what you don't know and take care of that while you scale and
Yeah,
grow and scale,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And listen, and for those watching, I just hired Kim's company to run. Who knew all that cool stuff about Pinterest? I did not. She's like, let's take off all the banana cake recipes, Jean. You really only need one. And let's find the right audience for your conference. So Kim Ward's company is handling all of my Pinterest, whatever we're doing there. I don't know what she's doing, but all I know is I gave her an account with 0 people, and I don't know what it's up to today. It doesn't matter. I know that you brought people in,
Yep.
right? So yay for you. Yay for you. So,
You're on a need to know basis. I'll see you at the conference.
I'm listen, if there's one person I trust, it's you, right?
Thank you.
So, all right, Kim, I don't know. Do you want to take a moment and tell them the story, or do you want to let that be as something that people can ask you about?
I love this story. I love when you tell the story because I do need a little depends when you tell it because I tinkle myself a little bit. So please do me the honor.
Okay, so Kim Ward I didn't know her, but she was on my, I had downloaded some freebie that you had offered. I don't even remember what it was, Kim. And so one day I'm sitting here and there's 37,000 emails in my inbox, and I'm like, I should maybe do something about that. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to unsubscribe from everybody I'm not reading. So I had already unsubscribed maybe, I don't know, 600, 700 emails. And then I come to Kim Ward and I type in Kim Ward, pulls up all your emails. But the first email there says, the subject line says, well, slap my ass and call me Sally. I almost tinkled myself when I read that. And I started laughing, and I'm like, all right, I've got to open it and read it. Right. So I opened it and read it, and I'm like, oh shit, she was offering a program that I would have liked to have bought had I read her other emails. Right. But I wasn't reading them. So I thought I was being funny, and I emailed Kim and I said, hey, I saw this email. I was just getting ready to unsubscribe. I saw this. I see I missed the date. Can I still get in your program? And you were busy. You just were onboarding people from this, right? And it took you 4 or 5 days to get back to me. But by that time, it wasn't that I didn't want to do it anymore. I had moved on from that conversation to something else and got busy, right? So I didn't respond right away either. Fast forward to a Facebook post, and
Did you guys know that Kim Ward could blush because Jean Kuhn pulls it out of me? Oh my God.
So fast forward to, I'm scrolling through my email, and Kim and I are in this, and we have both share the same coach, and I don't think that might be why I knew of you. And I'm reading an email, and I'm reading, and the story is about me. Thank God she didn't use my name, right?
I would never.
Because it really said that bitch said, right, she wanted to unsubscribe, and then she wanted to join. Then I never heard from her, and it was like she was really pissed, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I get it, because we didn't know each other, right? We did not know and I was really pissed. I was pissed that she was pissed at me.
Yeah.
Right. So fast forward to 3 weeks ago, and our coach gives us a challenge. And Kim, what did you say? You reached out to me first.
I went to you, and it's so funny. I see my friends, they're like, oh my gosh, that's such a Kim Ward thing to do. I'm a work in progress.
Me too.
I don't even know if you like the nickname I called you. I just felt, because of Marco Polo, we're seeing each other every single day. I felt like we had been friends for a long time. I felt very connected to you.
I was on your list.
Right. So I reached out to you in a private Marco Polo, and I was like, Jeannie Beanie, I want to swap with you. I want to work with you. And she was like, get the hell out of here. What? That's probably what you thought, but that's not what you said.
No, I thought what I thought was, she doesn't know who I am.
I didn't.
She doesn't know that I'm that bitch.
I didn't.
Yeah. So
now, just in case anyone wants to know, that bitch is a term of endearment in my world. So it's like, hey, bitch, but yeah, that really happened. That's a true story.
It was, but you know what? I was first of all, I knew she didn't know who I was. But the second thing is the fact that she wanted to reach out. So after I made sure we set up all the details first. Like, we had some time invested in that.
Yes.
And then I said to her, I think before we go forward, we should have an uncomfortable conversation. And I
That was
told her the
really
story.
sneaky of you, by the
Right,
way.
yeah, because I wanted to do it with you, right? So I wanted to create those swaps. So I told her who I was, and literally we both laughed about it, right? Because and best friends,
Yep.
BFFs now forever.
Yep.
So I don't know what that means. I'm just saying.
That's our gang sign, I guess.
It's our gang sign.
That's our second act. We'll see you in Illinois.
Second act. Oh yeah, that's second act. So you guys, listen, you have to laugh, right? You have to laugh about shit and not take things too seriously or too personally, right?
Mhm.
So I didn't take it. I did for a few minutes, just
We
like
didn't
you took it
talk for like
personally.
a year and a half. I don't know how long it's been.
Well, I don't think we had ever talked before. I met you when everything was virtual.
Well, you were on my email list, so we
You
never
did
really talk, but we
exactly.
yeah, okay.
So I
Jeez.
did, and and when you started showing up on Marco Polo, I just assumed you didn't like me and didn't want to talk to me because you wrote that scathing email about me. So honestly, listen, I love this story so much because had I not said anything, Kim, I don't know that we would have. I don't know that we would even have gotten this far because I would have still thought you don't know who I am or I don't know who you are and what should I be afraid or what, right?
It would
So
have been in the back of your mind
it
always.
would have, and I didn't want it to be there, and I'm so glad that I did say something because, oh my gosh, what an amazing, and you guys already know this, what an amazing woman Kim Ward is,
Thank you.
right?
And you too. And give me some warning. If this is how you're going to introduce me onto your stage at the
No,
second act,
maybe
this is the girl I've been telling you about. It's coming, you guys. Payback's a bitch.
no, yeah, but no, listen, and let me just say this, it's not the first time I've ever been called a bitch. So I'll
Well,
just say that.
I've got you beat.
So Kim, I always like to leave with one thing. What is the best piece of advice you can give to an entrepreneur? And let's say right now who's gotten themselves into a little bit of a uncomfortable situation. What's the
Oh,
best piece of advice you could give to them?
that's such a loaded question.
I know.
Um, I will say I talked about stress a lot in this conversation, and I think that there is the paralyzing stress that like literally kills us. And I think there's the stress where I was correlating it to like no pressure, no diamonds. And I will say, as that entrepreneur, you may feel like your back is against the wall. Consistency trumps everything. If you think no one is watching, if you think that, just keep going. I think for Jean and for myself and anyone else who has gotten to where they want to be, I don't care if it's a 10K month, a six-figure business, a seven-figure business, there's all crap we had to plow through to get to the other side. New level, new devil is a very, very real thing. And it's going to feel like you're in it right now. Once you get through it, through action and consistency and imperfect action, you're going to be so, so happy that you did. So don't ever give up.
Right. I would say I could not say hallelujah more than that because my first client, my very first paying client, so this is how much of a not quitter I am, followed me for my first client followed me for 8 years before they ever signed up to be a client. Eight
Wow.
years. Why
Wow.
hadn't I given up between because I was too dumb to not to give up, right?
That's a common law marriage, dude.
That's hysterical. Yeah. So Kim, thank you so much for being here. I
Oh,
am
thank
so
you.
grateful that you took the time today to be here and share that story with us. And your husband's one lucky man. I will say that.
I'm the lucky one. And I will tell you, you guys, it does take a village. And I learned, that communication is everything. And I don't mean to seem like, he's not masculine, but he is.
Right.
We commonly want to scale this business and impact so many people. And so now he's the one that cleans the house. He does the grocery shopping. He does all of the cooking. He does all of the appointments. He runs and gets my daughter to and from school because now he realizes the importance of me being able to scale and help so many others because he's living his best life. And now our daughter, she has two beautiful parents who don't have open wounds and the ripple effects that come out of working together as as a team, it's a blessing.
Oh my God, he's like the perfect man. Is
Yeah.
how many women want that man, right? That's sort of a husband who who literally, number one, trusts you enough to do it,
Yep.
and then helps you around all of the other stuff so you can do it. I You are a very lucky woman.
Yep.
Awesome. Kim, thanks so much for being here. I never go this long. Thank you guys for hanging out here with us.
October 25th through 27th, secondactevent.com. I will see you there.
Come see Kim Ward at the Second Act Conference in the Chicago area. Have a great day. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.